Hello world of YouTube and welcome to another Carversation. Today, we're going to be doing a little bit of theorizing. We're gonna talk a little bit about one of the most prominent film franchises in the last 10 or so years, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I'm going to do a little theorizing as to where they're going to go next, because next month is the debut of Endgame, the final piece of the Infinity War puzzle, and Kevin Feige has come out and said that, this is the end of an era. This is the end of a saga. The story is going to change from this point forward. And that makes sense. Disney has been working hard to get some big acquisitions their way, and I'm guessing it's an attempt to keep the MCU fresh. And I feel like the next saga is going to be a lot more grand in scope, but I'm saying that meaning there's going to be a lot of different things going on, which could turn some people off, but I think if they pull it off well, it'll come together nicely. I think they're still going to have a big, huge story to tell, but they're going to focus a lot on introducing new people to take over the mantles of some of the heroes, while bringing in a lot of new faces in waves to keep things kind of fresh for those who are wanting those Fox, characters to be a little more prominent. I think they are going to introduce X-Men, and I think they are going to make X-Men a semi-big point of the MCU. I don't think they're going to, at first anyway, tackle the stories that the Fox studios have focused on. I don't think they're going to do Dark Phoenix. I don't think they're going to do Apocalypse. I don't think they're going to do anything like that. What I think they are going to do is utilize them in different ways. I think that they're going to be components of some of the bigger stories, while also having their own intimate, more personal tales. I think they're going to become kind of another ensemble cast like the Guardians of the Galaxy are, and they're just going to be another set of adventures that we can follow as side stories. I think they're going to focus a lot more on smaller ensemble or smaller pieces as well. I wouldn't be surprised if they made something like the Clone Saga a thing, but only involve Spider-Man and the X-Men, and not really have anybody else involved in that. They're going to have a big event while other little events going on that are affecting only certain people, since the cast now, the amount of people that could potentially be in the MCU now is a lot bigger. I know Deadpool is a big thing. A lot of people are thinking Deadpool is going to stick around. I also think so, but I think he'll be one of the characters that they're going to introduce that does not have a part in the big stories, which I think is going to be a bigger focus in the next thing. Depending on who the next big villain is, I think Captain Marvel is still going to play a big component into that. I think that they are going to, I've seen articles say that they're going to focus on time travel, or I think they're going to focus more on period pieces. Hell, if they don't do Movie Bob's version of the Fantastic Four, they're fucking up royally, because that idea sounds like it would work wonders for the MCU. I like the idea of other period pieces as well. Maybe they can do period pieces about the X-Men, like the second trilogy did, but not focus on the huge, big stories. Keep theirs, like I said, the Guardians pieces kind of show where they were, where they've been throughout the MCU, and maybe why they weren't in the big Infinity War. I think Spider-Man is still going to be a big component of the next set. I think his films are going to be kind of the new Cap and Iron Man films are going to be the thing that Marvel uses to get people excited to go back to see MCU movies. Same with Black Panther and Guardians, and to a lesser degree Doctor Strange and I guess Ant-Man. I don't know, I'd be stoked to see the next Ant-Man. While they introduce these newer characters or focus on other smaller characters like the Fantastic Four, if they decide to bring them in, or some other random characters they're going to introduce, I'm sure. I also think they're going to focus on bringing the TV characters from Netflix shows into some facet of the big screen, because I really think that they're not done. I don't think those actors are done with those characters. I think that they did such a good job at fleshing them out to some degree, to some people, and I don't think they're done with him. I also think that they're going to try to integrate some of the heroes from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. into the MCU proper, like Ghost Rider. I know he's in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He could do a thing with Doctor Strange, and I think it would work really well. That's what I think they're going to focus on. I think the big villain of the second saga is going to be Galactus. I think they're just going to build up to Galactus and have the Fantastic Four, maybe Doctor Strange, and some of the new characters be a big component into that. And I think one of the things they're going to do to keep the mantles that they've had established alive is pass them down. You know, I don't think Cap or Iron Man obviously aren't going to stick around, but I think they're going to give those mantles to other characters, and they might even do the same with Thor. I don't think Chris Hemsworth's done with the character, but I think that if he is, they're going to either introduce Better Right Bill, since they're not going to bring Natalie Portman back, they're going to give a different character a female Thor. I think that either Sam or Bucky, because I don't know if Bucky's done, but if he is, they're going to give Sam the mantle of Captain America, because that's what happens in the comics. They haven't introduced, and I know she's a newer part of the comics, but there's a little girl who becomes Iron Man, and since they haven't introduced her, I think they're going to make Shuri from Black Panther the new Tony Stark style tech person, and it makes sense. They're both tech wizards. She's very smart. She's super tech savvy. She's all about the new technology. I think the only people that are going to stick around from the MCU are Hulk. I think they're going to give a big focus on Hulk as well, which I'm excited for, because I hope that they do Hulk justice. I think Black Widow's sticking around. Hawkeye might stick around. I think Sam, War Machine, and Spidey obviously is going to stick around. But I think out of the core original guys before the Phase 1 peeps, I think Black Widow, Hawkeye, Hulk, and maybe Thor are going to stick around. Between shooting this and editing this, I got into a conversation with one of my coworkers about this very thing, and they had heard that only 2 of the original Phase 1 peeps are sticking around, and if that is the case, I'm thinking it's Hulk and Black Widow. Obviously, Doctor Strange, Black Panther, and Spider-Man are going to stick around. They have sequels to their films that they could do. And I think that's it. And the Guardians guys, because the Guardians guys are still going to be a big component, and they'll be a big part of the Galactus story if they decide to do him next. I feel like that's the next logical place to go for the MCU, is to Galactus, or some other world scoped bad guy. But I think Galactus makes the most sense, because if you're going to do Thanos, you might as well do Galactus next. He's another strong cosmic bad guy. I think they're going to keep the cosmic as the big baddie of the arc, while focusing on other. I think they're going to do a better job at making compelling villains to add to the tension within the films, you know, because I mean the end of this saga has had some really good villains. I like that they teased Dormammu a bit in Doctor Strange. I loved the Vulture. Killmonger, even though he's not around, I liked him as well. There's a lot more compelling villains in the second half, or the tail end of the MCU, so I think they're going to focus a lot on that in the more smaller, intimate tales, and maybe even have more crossover stuff like what happened in Ragnarok. I think that since that was very successful for them, they will do more of that, and I think that's where characters like Deadpool are going to come in. And also, if they don't introduce Deadpool by just having him appear with his dimensional warp and just stick around, that's also something they're fucking up on. But yeah, I think the focus is going to be introducing as many new characters as possible, integrating what popular TV characters there were from the Netflix shows into the MCU proper, and give a lot more gritty shit. You know, I think they're gonna add some serious shit to the MCU while keeping a lot of the lighthearted shit there. Yeah, it's my take. It's my take on what the MCU is gonna do. Do you like the Marvel movies? Do you agree with my opinions? What do you think? What do you think is gonna happen with the MCU? Let me know. If you have a topic you would like for me to discuss in Carversations, let me know as well in the comments below. But I'm gonna go. I've been Foul Rack. You guys have good days, lives, and situations. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you another day.
gonna be